Hey, Great 28 group leaders. Welcome to the fall edition of our Great 28 groups. I just want to give you a brief introduction into this fall's study. Probably won't do a video every week, but just want to give you some thoughts as we kick off a new session with the Great 28 groups. We will continue using the same format that we used last session and really the same material. It's all from a book called Walking and Talking with God by Pastor Arthur Graff. We looked at some figures from the Bible who walked with God this past session, so we will pick up the second half of the book title, Talking with God, and specifically we will look at the Lord's Prayer and do an in-depth study of the Lord's Prayer. So just a quick thought on that. I know many will be familiar with the Lord's Prayer, very familiar with it, and I trust you will learn a ton about prayer as we work our way through the study. But I'd also would ask you as the group leader to even help your group not only see it as a model prayer, something to emulate and to use in our prayers, but really as a way of life. The Lord's Prayer really is more of a way of walking with God, a way of living life. You see that in Luther's Catechism, just in the order he put the different parts. He starts with the Ten Commandments, which tell us what God requires of us. Then he places the Apostles' Creed, which tells us what God has done for us in Christ. And then he comes to the Lord's Prayer. And so once we see what God's will is for us in the Ten Commandments, and even how we fall short of that will, and are driven to the Apostles' Creed and the work of Christ for us to secure forgiveness for us, then we come to the Lord's Prayer. Of what does a forgiven, repentant believer do now? The Lord's Prayer shows the way. So as you work your way through the study, certainly your discussions will focus on prayer, but I also want you to try to think in terms of, what does this look like lived out as in my day-to-day life? How does this help me think about how I make my way through the day? There's questions involved, just like last time in the study, and we just say, you've probably figured this out by now, but it can be difficult to ask questions or to write questions for your specific group. And so when you come across a question that doesn't make sense or maybe doesn't elicit a lot of responses from your group, I wouldn't worry about it. I would just move on and hope it gets better from there. There's no sense of you have to answer every question. But as a group leader, it'd be good for you to be familiar with all the questions just so you know where you want to focus on and where you want to direct the conversation. Okay? Hey, we'll know that we're praying for you. If you have any questions, any concerns about any aspect of your group, don't hesitate to contact me. I'd love to talk to you more about that. But in the meantime, we will continue on with the Lord's Prayer. Blessings on you. Thanks.